Welcome back, all you Fabricants and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today we're going to be reviewing episode 3 of Miss Marvel, coming to you from Marvel Studios and Disney Plus. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? Episode 3, the midway point. We're halfway through Miss Marvel. The first, I hope it's more than one season, but the first season of Miss Marvel, with an episode entitled "Destined." And Ladi, this is, I think it's the one where we're like, oh, now we finally see what is this show actually about. We get the fallout of previous episode where Nightlight, Kamala's badly named superhero, saved the day. She discovered that Kamran is more than meets the eye, and that there's some other people that know about her. And also, we get to see a wedding, a big old Pakistani wedding. So, all that good stuff happened, and some nefarious goings on. So, I've got much to say about this, but Lottie, what'd you think about this episode, and how has this, sort of changed your anticipation, or if it did, it change your anticipation for the last 3 episodes of the series?
I'm gonna say this. I like this episode. I really like this episode, but there was something at the absolute end of the episode that I did not like. It has nothing to do with the show. It just has to do with the genre of what the show is. And I'll explain it later when we talk about spoilers. It's just a little disappointing that Marvel decided to go with that trope, and it's just annoying in my opinion. Some people might not find it as, but it's one of the things that keeps me away from this kind of genre because they just always use this trope, and it just, you know what I mean. So, but besides that, it was action packed. I enjoyed the episode. We find out more about who she is, all of that, and then the little bit of herself just, you know, adding to the more cultural side. And like you said, I can definitely see why more people of color will like this show. It's, I like I said, in my opinion, besides that ending, if you cut out the ending, this was the best episode they've made so far.
Right. I yeah, I really love this episode. There's there's a lot of really good stuff going on here. The funny thing, I was listening to other people talk about this, and of course, I've been watching social media, whatever. And the highlight of this show isn't even the superheroics, right?
No.
Like, have you heard? You hear a lot of people be like, "Oh, everything's all the same in the MCU," and it's all bam, pow, blah blah, all that other stuff, right? That's not what this show is. This shows, if I'm being honest, the action parts of this show, while I enjoyed them, were pretty middle of the road. You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple of points I was like, yeah, but it's pretty middle of the road stuff. It and In a way, I kind of enjoyed that fact. There's the fight that goes on. Kamala's fighting multiple people, and she doesn't look good at what she's doing, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with
Thank
that
God.
because
Thank
she
God.
she shouldn't be good at this.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I don't want her all of a sudden to be a black belt in karate and
no,
just be
she's
like, where the
not.
fuck did this come from?
She's a nerd girl that learned she has powers, and she trained to learn how to use her powers, but she's just barely trained, right? So
Yeah.
she's not good at it. And it's fine because she still, manages to sort of not get killed or whatever. That's good. I like that part. But, the parts I really liked about this episode was the times when she interacted with her mom and her dad. And when she had her, someone called it the with great power moment, when she's
Yeah.
talking to her imam. I I mean, every time she's talking with her mom, there's a tendency in these shows to have the kids going against the mom or dad or whatever or expectation, and that's not the way this is working, right? I mean, I love that. I love her and her relationship with her family, the wedding was, did it have anything to do with anything? Not really, but I loved the wedding. And if anything, though, to me, the weakest part of this episode was really the villain reveal because I was like, that's abrupt. That was very abrupt. Where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Um, but there's a lot of Easter eggs in this. There's a definite, you can see the brain trust work in the background, kind of going through this, the tapestry, if you will, of the MCU with some of the Easter eggs that we saw within there. The flashback to her great grandmother, some symbols and some designs that are related to another hero character we've seen before. You know, this is in the MCU, and it has something to do with it. I'm going to say probably has something to do with aliens and also to do with another bracelet artifact that we've seen recently. So I love this show. I told y'all I'm standing for Miss Marvel. I'm standing for Iman Vellani. She's kicking ass in this. She's great, and everyone's just doing their job. And I can't wait to see the rest of this season. So I think I covered everything spoiler free without saying too much. So you guys should be watching this, and if you're not, what are you doing? Go do yourself a favor. So anyway, with that said, we're gonna actually talk about spoilers now. So get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled. So let's get into it. Ladi, you were saying something earlier about at the ending that you didn't like. What was wrong with the ending?
So the ending of this episode really threw me off because just like how you were saying, the bonding with her and her mom and everything, the final part where the mom was like, "Hey, Kamala, what's going on? Can you talk to me about it?" And when she said no, I'm like, come on now. At this point, this is just stupid. Like, this is literally stupid because I'm just saying her mom clearly knows she has powers. I mean, she knows because it's in the family. Her great grandmother was one of these things. It's not a secret. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. She knew beginning of the first episode. She knew what that bracelet is. So the fact that everybody else knows except her parents, especially when there's these entities out here that are willing to kill, you're just like, nah, fam, y'all should not know what's going on. It is the most frustrating thing about the teen-based novel / like, it's the most annoying thing I hate about the genre. For some reason, they make the parents so useless in the story by either the main character refuses to tell the parents about anything when it literally makes no sense at the point. You know what I mean? It's like one of the reasons why I did not like Percy Jackson. They're one of the Percy Jackson books because they're like, oh, well, Percy Jackson, why would he tell her mom? Her mom knows she banged Poseidon. Why would she not know that her son has superpowers? You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I'm like, Kamala, you not telling your parents is irresponsible and stupid. It's literally it's literally not protecting.
I was gonna say irresponsible and stupid. You mean like teenagers?
Yeah, but it's like, I understand that. Like, don't get me wrong. I know they're teenagers, but it's literally at this point, it's not even making sense because it's like imagine I figured out that I'm half, like, let's just say I was born to, let's say instead of me being born and I know that I was Nigerian, let's say I find out from other people that I'm half Nigerian. Instead of asking my mom, I ask everybody else. Instead of asking the person that will actually know the answer. And and I'm just like, Kamala, come on now, please talk to your mom. Because it's like some people I've talked about it too. They're like, well, she's scared what her mom will say. I mean, at this point, there's these beings that are like super powerful, know who she is. She didn't fight them with a mask on.
Yeah. No,
they know who she is.
Yeah.
So they know her family. They could. You think they're gonna stay in that jail? So it's just like, come on, come on,
Yeah.
like, and especially at the end, she's like, her grandma's telling her to come to India. It's like, so you just go to sneak to India?
Yeah, well, and I was feeling, I was like, yeah, it's time to tell, but like, I get that she didn't, and it's part of the story. I speaking of those people, I did not expect them to bring clandestine in. That's it's not, and it's not exactly the same as the comics. I'm going to say that straight out. Clandestine in the comics is a group of immortal, at least very long living, supernaturally sort of people. They're primarily operating out of Britain.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very surprised because that's a deep cut. Like most people that know Marvel comics don't even know who Clandestine is. They've never read a Clandestine comic. So they got, I don't want to say kind of a blank slate of sort to work with, but then they also made it into the Jinn. And if you've played any kind of games with Jinn, and that's not good. like the Jinn aren't, they're not good. They're not Robin Williams, Genie in the Lamp. They're bad things. Even though I understand that there are good, bad, and evil Jinn, at least in Islamic or Muslim folklore. So that's very interesting. Now, and we have multi-dimensional stuff on. They say they're from another dimension. And on top of all that, we saw the 10 rings symbol. Like in at the
Yeah.
very beginning, we saw they were in that, and I didn't notice that until I saw some people sort of post screenshots. But they had the ten rings symbol in that temple. So those, it seems clear to me that they're drawing a line between the 10 rings and whatever this bracelet is. And then also that arm that it was attached to was blue. And the only blue skin people we know
Creed.
are Kree. And remember, they were saying that the 10 rings were broadcasting a signal into space, right? So you have a
Mm-hmm.
multi-dimensional, we don't know where they're from, but they're multi-dimensional. So they're extraterrestrial. We got the Kree, we got the 10 rings. And it appears that they're sort of like similar energy or whatever is going on. There's been, the speculation seems to be that that's one of the nega-bands. So could be. And also, since she's part Jinn, what does that mean? Is that going to be the answer to the Inhumans or what? There's a lot. I mean, that's all just related to like the what do they call them? The clandestine. And
Yeah.
so what does that all mean? I mean, obviously we're going to find something out that's going to lead into the Marvels. But that's again, I say all that part was the least interesting part of this episode to me, which is it's fine to me because it was still pretty fun watching Kamala, fight. And she actually, did you notice there was a one part like, who's going to win Kamala's heart ultimately? Because Kamran, he's not quite who he says he is, but he's hot and all this other stuff. And he did come to help her out, to be fair. But Bruno remember the whole time she was defending herself and she had like her little purple armor and shit like that. But the one time when she was finally like, oh, I'm going hard, she punched a dude with a big old fist because he was going to attack Bruno. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think he may be in with a chance, but we gonna see.
I
uh,
mean, him leaving, man. That's
yeah,
make her get right. Listen, you ain't gonna have me all.
yeah, and to be fair, look here. To be fair to Kamran, he seems like a good dude. Actually, he went against his mom,
Yeah.
for her. So I'm not down on him or Bruno or whatever. I'm not even picking sides here. This is just tough for her. To be honest, uh, uh, Kamala Khan she's just a cool girl. She's a cool girl, and I don't blame either of them for wanting to to get with her. I mean, she really is like a good person, right? She's a good
But can I
person.
say, can we can I talk about this really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I talk about like how abrupt the mom, the 0 to 60.
Yes.
Like the absolute like 0 to 60.
She's like, I refuse
So
to
I'm
wait
like,
any longer. And I'm like, it's been like 70 something years. Yeah, you can't wait. It's been 2 days since you met her. You can't wait 2 more days. Man, get out of here.
it just they went from like, oh yeah, we're friends to like fuck her. I'm just like,
He said, and
this is
it literally, what was her? She said, oh, well, they think it might be dangerous. So they want to try, wait a little bit and try to figure out the safest way. No, fuck that. Give us the band right now. I'm like, really? Why? Y'all, she was just drinking tea with you in your house yesterday. Like literally
Yep.
yesterday. Yes, I guess you can only wait so long if you live forever.
I can only wait so long.
I'm done waiting. It's been 30 minutes. I'm done waiting. I'm like, come on now.
That kind of like when I was watching it, I was just like, golly, woman, chill out. She literally 0 to 60. We went from her being happy to now she's just a psycho chick.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I will say it's a little disappointing, but I can understand that they give Miss Marvel probably, and let's just be honest. Let's just straight up be honest. This is probably the worst villain of all the Marvel shows. This just
I
this
mean,
is
thus far, their motivations are mundane as hell.
yeah,
And they're not. Their powers don't seem to be much more than Razor Fist could probably beat their ass. The dude from Shang-Chi. But we gonna see. Look, we still got to find out about her great grandmother. Her grandmother's like, come to Karachi, so they've got to go to Pakistan and all that stuff. So we don't know. There's more to this, so I'm holding out hope. But honestly, even if they're the lamest villains, I still really love this show. Like, if they could proceed as they have been going so far, and I'd still really love this show. And I can say halfway through, I highly anticipate this is my most anticipated thing from Marvel. It is living up to expectations for me. So, anyway, we've talked quite a bit about this. Anyway, that's our spoiler thoughts. What do you guys think about that? About the whole show, and what's your anticipation for the future? Let us know down in the comments, or hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter, and we'll chop it up. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining us. Come back next week for episode 4 of Miss Marvel and our review. Until then, I've been Mole Poupée, your resident fabricant and comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Ladi. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
peace.